start by introducing what I'm looking at, what I'm interested in, and then I'm going to take you through what I've been doing and talk in between it. In the interest of it being I should say actually that I've only just found out that the lights work, so I was still playing with the lights before you got here, and that took ages to actually realise I don't actually need them, but they're on anyway, because I quite like what they're doing. And also, I don't actually need any of the stuff that I bought. When I first arrived, I was doing it yesterday, I bought my own projector and a PA and microphones and everything on the off chance that it wouldn't be the right stuff. And then when I realised it was the right stuff, I felt compelled to use my own stuff because I bought it, and I felt like it'd be a shame not to use it at that point. So this is why, and all of these leads as well, I borrowed this from my colleagues, all these pink and green and yellow leads and everything like that. I felt like I couldn't leave them out. So in fact, there's actually no need for me to be this loud either, but I felt like I needed to use what I've got. So I'm going to work between this volume and that volume in the interest of using what I brought with me. I'm looking at site-specific art, and since I've begun my PhD, which is 6 months ago or something, I've started to think differently about what site-specific art is. And the whole notion of site specificity has been bothering me, and certainly within the context of as practice as research, I used to see site-specific art as an artist finding a site, responding to it, and then it's kind of finished. And I'm now seeing site as something more than that. This is all coming from people like Michel de Certeau, so this is very much in the vein of a space being a practiced place. So when I go into a place, in the context of today's talk, it's a cafe, I'm really interested in how that space is animated by my practice, the practice of the people within the space, the objects, and etc., etc. All these things that sort of sit together and sit on top of each other. Layers of meaning. Tim Etchells from Forced Entertainment talks about this layering of meaning when a piece of work happens, it is viewed and it is read, and it's reworked in different places. These layers of meaning that stack up on each other. And this sits nicely with Lucy Lippard as well. I'm setting my theories out ready for. Well, to avoid actually the question of who is supporting this position, which theorists. I'm doing that now to get that out of the way. So Lucy Lippard, she talks about the local being this hybrid of existing things that are just added to. So this notion of something, our local experience, we just add to an already existing situation within ourselves, within a place. I purposefully not written out an order of how I want to talk through things, because I'm interested in trying to pick my own brain and trying to work out actually what I do know and what I can remember to talk about as well. So this is an exercise in me trying to remember stuff, and also finding out what I do know and what I don't know, and what I dare talk about. So, okay. I didn't use a microphone anywhere near enough there. I should have done. This is a cafe. That said, that was too quick, that's gone now. That said, they were sat in the middle of the cafe and they ordered food, but no, they ordered drinks but no food. I think that said, you wear sunglasses on your head to hide the fact that nobody hugs you. So this girl closer to us, she gets lots of hugs from people that come into the situation. The girl who she starts physically manhandling in a minute, she doesn't get any hugs. This guy stays like that a lot of the time, and asks the question, if this table wasn't there, you'd be pretty lost. He needs the table, he needs his elbows. That bit said, a waitress and I caught eye contact. That's important, I'm going to speak about that in a bit. More people came into this situation, but I had to stop videoing. Different people, all boys in fact, and they hugged her. She is pretending to be on a phone here. The phone isn't there. She's pretending to be on it. This girl lifts her arm up and makes the other girl be on the phone. What I'm interested in is how a place and my position within the place and my relationship with other people conceals our performances, really, our desire to belong to that space. When I'm entering these spaces, I'm really trying to work out who I am and why I'm there and what's happening to me there. It's interesting, we were talking about this morning, this first person narrative. I'm glad that I'm going this afternoon and not yesterday, because this morning was really helpful. I noticed actually that I was using the word I a lot more, and this was a consequence of this eye contact that I'd had with a waitress. So I'm going to go back a bit. I come into the cafe and I've got my laptop, and my intention is to sit and write and observe things, and I've been doing that a lot. And I find myself just listing things, very much in this sort of Georges Perec way, just listing what's happening and what I'm seeing, and what that reveals about the place, what it conceals about the place, and what it reveals about me and my position within that place. This is my idea of site specificity sort of evolving here, not as a response, but as a set of responses. And the eye contact, I went into the cafe and I ordered the coffee and I sat down and I got my laptop out and started writing, and I was sort of aware of myself in that I was performing the role of an artist, or the role of a performer or a poet, or I certainly had this sort of feeling of I'm here doing this in the cafe with my laptop. And then my eye contact with the waitress sort of punctuated that performance. And things changed, and I was very aware of her, and I believed that she was aware of me. And I started writing down what I was thinking, what was happening. And it became I at this point. This is what I was thinking and noticing, so I was trying to keep up with my brain. And I'm conscious of this is the Derridian thing of as soon as the writing happens, it kind of corrupts what's happening here. So I'm trying to write as quick as I can, because I'm trying to get it out onto the page. This is my paper, by the way. I don't have a paper, but this is what would be on paper if this was made of paper. Just working around the space, doing the wages. I'm still sat there writing. Eventually, the girl left, and she hugged everybody, and she said, sayonara. I was interested in the fact she said sayonara, so I wrote that down. I wanted to know what that meant, what using a foreign word meant at that point. I went onto the internet at that point and started researching the psychology of using a foreign word. So I tried to locate myself in all this, and I encountered a married man, a father, and an artist. These were the people that were entering into my life. Okay. So we've got the eye contact with the waitress, and then she went, and I've got this thing of I'm the artist, and then as I'm thinking about, we make eye contact, we kind of fell in love there. So then the married man entered, and and the father as well, all these first people. And then she went to the toilet, and I imagined her going to the toilet, taking her pants down, and going for a piss. And fine. But then I started to think to myself, what if she stays in there longer? You know, then she's going for a shit. And that was problematic. That didn't really fit with how I wanted to imagine things. And how our relationship with this fantasy, it didn't really work anymore. So I wrote this down. This wasn't even the same day. Then I began thinking about Christava and her going for a shit potentially, even though she didn't. She came out quite quickly, so it was a win. I started thinking about Christava, and then theories of abjection started sort of coming in. So then I very quickly sort of dropped that relationship I had with her, and then started intellectualizing me not wanting her to go for a shit. So our relationship was sort of over at that point. And I was very conscious of these punctuating moments within this site-specific performance, or this intervention, or whatever I choose to call it when I'm in the middle of this. Suddenly I was back into the role of, I don't know, a researcher at this point. Methodology for this. I'm trying to do as much as I can and capture as much as I can about what's happening in this place. So I'm recording the sound of it. The sound is from a different day. This is not the same day. The bit I'm talking about, when I'm talking about the waitress, that's a different day as well. Then there's the video. This is the same place, different days, different sounds. 2 mums and 4 girls, 1 boy, and 2 mums, 3 kids, 1 boy, 3 girls. Yeah, it was a different situation. And what became interesting about that situation is there was a mum with a new baby, and the new baby was being passed around, and the kids were all trying to get a piece of this new baby. Yeah, one of the mums has a phone to photograph the large letters on the wall. The kids are all drawing. One of the mums secretly records the kids drawing so not to alert them to the fact they're being watched. She wants them to act naturally, so she doesn't want them to know that she's using this iPhone. Mums drink water, the kids are eating paninis. This is quite a middle class cafe. This is a different day now. But I'm still talking about the mums and the kid. The girls really want to be loved by the mum with the baby. When the mum passes the baby on, the kids who are sort of in their 5, 6, 7, 8 go straight over to the mum with the baby. They want her attention massively. And I start to see... this little boy and this baby are looking at each other, and the baby becomes the object of conversation, and the mother and the baby become the centre of this situation. What starts to happen is, they've all got their iPhones out, and they're showing them different photographs of different things, and the kids are using the iPhones to photograph parts of this situation. And I start to notice that the baby and the iPhone start to sort of vie for attention. They start to jump between being the centre of the situation, which becomes really interesting. The little boy doesn't give a shit. He goes under the table, and he wants to play underneath the table, but the girls want to be with the mom. And he's told to come out from underneath the table, which is really interesting. So the mum's showing photographs on this phone, and then the little girl gets it, she starts taking photographs. And then when she starts to present the photographs she's taken, which incidentally was the boy's toilet, she photographed the table by accident. Yeah, when the mum's photographs the table by accident, and starts to show everybody. But the mums start to lose interest really, really quickly with the little girl and her photographs. Yeah, they start talking about the iPhone, back to the baby. Yeah, the little girl wants to show videos and photographs, but people have lost interest by that. The little boy then starts trying to kiss his mum's arm, because he's not had a look in, apart from going under the table, and then he was told to get out. Also, this moment, or this when I look back at this, and what I'm conscious of is that there's a ghost of myself in the cafe. This is really interesting to me. This was very good to Tim actually, it was onto Nick Kay, and the people that I'm interested in that in leaving a site, you leave a trace of it. And we talk a lot about absence and presence, and this impossibility of as soon as you're not somewhere, in order to not be there, you kind of have to leave a trace of what Derrida described as a ghost in there. And I find myself still being in this cafe, and as I'm looking back at this video, I still find this piece of site-specific performance, it's still happening. It's not finished, I'm not just documenting it, ready to show you, it's still happening. And as I look back, these arms, the more blurred they became, the more they reminded me of the Carolee Schneemann piece, Fuses, which is her sex video. And then I start to write about Jim Haynes, who's somebody that I met in Paris. Jim Haynes, for anyone that doesn't know, is a very famous guy who is known as the godfather of social networking. He has people, strangers over to his house every Sunday, at his flat in Paris, every Sunday evening, strangers, and he cooks for them. And he's becoming quite famous. He was instrumental in starting the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and his was mates with Ginsberg and John Lennon, lots of different people, Jim Haynes. And he was friends with Carolee Schneemann. And it dawned on me actually that by knowing Jim, who's now in his late 70s, that's my link to Carolee Schneemann. That's my only link to Carolee Schneemann. I know somebody that knows her. So she became part of this. Where this ends and begins is really unclear to me, but that's what I'm really interested in. That's what I'm trying to work out in terms of performativity of the people within the place. How do they use their bodies? How do they change of the moment to create identities within this place? How does this little boy go under the table and kissing his mum's arm? These gestures of trying to know yourself, and these gestures of trying to belong, and me actually doing this, my senses of belonging in this place. The more I go back to this cafe, the more local I feel to it, and I'm conscious that kind of happens with familiarity. I'm explaining that I didn't say the most important part of this is these everyday things that happen. This is the interest of my PhD. It comes from this long line from the happenings, fluxes, these things we know about. This minute micro detail, these meta narratives that happen. I'm exploring those, and I'm excited about those. I'm trying to work out what they reveal about place and what they reveal about performativity. That's me trying to make some sense of that.